And then, so I kept on it. And then finally, Kay says, well, I've already confessed that, so quit bringing it up.
The Robertson family survived scandals, shootings, and network battles. They made Duck Dynasty the biggest reality show on cable TV. But Willie Robertson's empire is crumbling from within. His father, Phil, died in May 2025. His kids refused to take over the business. Then Willie made one final mistake that sealed their fate. A street vendor incident in June 2025 exposed the truth about what the Robertsons had really become. The family that once ruled reality TV may never recover from this devastating blow. Willie Jess Robertson was born on April 22, 1972, at Tri-Ward General Hospital in Bernice, Louisiana. His arrival came just 2 days before his father Phil's 26th birthday. That timing seemed to mark the start of a new chapter for the Robertsons. The hospital where Willie was born was small and served a rural community where most people depended on hunting and fishing to survive. Willie's birth certificate later became a cherished keepsake, a reminder of the family's humble beginnings. The early 1970s were hard times in places like Bernice. Money was tight, and Phil Robertson was still searching for his path in life. Even as a baby, Willie's arrival brought a sense of hope that maybe things could change. Willie's childhood was loud, busy, and often chaotic. He grew up alongside his brothers Alan, Jace, and Jep, and his sister Phyllis. The family home was filled with activity. Duck calls were assembled on the living room floor. Sawdust was everywhere. Arguments and playful wrestling between siblings were a daily thing. Their father Phil was a complex man. He loved the outdoors and had a gift for inventing, but he struggled with alcoholism. The Robertsons lived modestly. They often relied on wild game for meals and worried about paying bills. The children learned to take care of themselves. They became tough and resourceful, traits that would help them later in life. The emotional strain was as real as the financial struggles. Phil's drinking led to unpredictable moods and long absences. But through it all, the siblings grew close. They shared the same dream, that one day their father's duck call business would lift them out of poverty. When Willie was 8 years old, something happened that changed everything. Phil hit rock bottom. His drinking and violent behavior had nearly destroyed his marriage and his life. But in 1980, he became a born-again Christian. The change was immediate. The man who had frightened his family with his temper became devoted to his faith and to them. Willie saw this transformation with his own eyes. It left a mark on him that he never forgot. The home that had once been filled with fear became a place of hope. They started going to church. They found peace in the stability that Phil's new life brought. Willie often said later that this was the most important event in his life. It shaped who he was and what he believed. Summers for Willie were not about fun and relaxation. While other kids went to camp or on trips, Willie worked in the heat, helping with the family business. Duck Commander at that time was tiny. It operated out of the living room and later a small workshop. Willie learned it all, sanding the calls, putting them together, packing orders, and answering the phone. By his teens, he was already handling business calls and negotiating deals. Those summers taught him the meaning of hard work and how a small business survived. Every sale mattered. Willie felt that pressure and did his part. These years gave him a work ethic that would stay with him forever. Willie's knack for business showed up early. While his friends did odd jobs, Willie was selling duck calls to hunters. Sometimes he made more money in a weekend than his father made in a week teaching. He kept careful notes of who bought what. He tried different ways to boost sales, like giving discounts for big orders or offering free parts to loyal customers. It worked. By high school, people saw him as a sharp young businessman. His talent for sales and marketing would later help turn Duck Commander into a national name. The fact that he could out-earn his father at such a young age showed just how driven he was. College was where Willie's personal and business life started to come together. He went to Harding University in Arkansas, a Christian school. There he met Corey Howard. Willie didn't just fall for her charm. He noticed how she thought like a business person. They spent hours talking about ideas and plans for the future. Willie saw right away that Corey could be more than a wife. She could be a partner in building something big. Their teamwork started long before marriage. They dreamed of making Duck Commander a brand people everywhere would know. Willie later transferred to Northeast Louisiana University, now called the University of Louisiana at Monroe. He had a clear goal: learn what he needed to grow the family business. While many thought it was a strange move, it made sense to him. He focused on business classes, marketing, management, finance, and shaped his assignments around Duck Commander. This was when he truly began to understand how to take the company beyond a small shop. At just 19 on January 11, 1992, Willie married Corey. Some thought he was too young and worried it would get in the way of his dreams. But Willie didn't see it that way. For him, marrying Corey was part of the plan. Together, they would build a life and a business. Their wedding was simple, but their shared vision was powerful. Corey would become vital to the company's success. She helped with the finances and the branding that made Duck Commander famous. While in college, Willie worked part-time jobs, including at a sporting goods store. He didn't just do it for the paycheck. He watched and learned how retail worked, how to manage stock, display products, and keep customers happy. These lessons stuck with him. They helped him improve Duck Commander's product line, packaging, and customer service later on. His time in retail gave him a real-world education that no classroom could offer. In 1995, Willie graduated with a business degree. The family business was making just $8,000 a year at that point, barely enough to get by. But Willie was ready. He started making changes right away. He set up better accounting, sped up production, and pushed hard to sell beyond their local area. His vision was bold. He didn't want a small shop. He wanted a national brand. And he made it happen. When Willie Robertson took over Duck Commander in 2002, the company felt more like a family hobby than a real business. It all started in Phil Robertson's living room. Duck calls were made at the kitchen table. Orders were scribbled on scraps of paper. Inventory was tucked into closets. Willie was just 30 years old at the time, but he came prepared. He had a business degree and a clear vision. He wanted to turn the small operation into something much bigger. He started by setting up inventory tracking. He organized the order system. He built strong distribution channels. These changes took Duck Commander from a local secret to a brand hunters across the country could trust. By 2006, Duck Commander products were sitting on the shelves of major sporting goods stores. The company had grown far beyond its Louisiana roots. Back in the early days, making duck calls was a family affair. Phil's kitchen table was the production line. The family would sit together, hand-assembling each call. But demand kept growing, and Willie knew this couldn't continue. He made a bold move. He shifted the operation to a proper warehouse at 117 Kings Lane in West Monroe, Louisiana. This was a big change. The warehouse became the heart of the company's production, storage, and shipping. It allowed for modern manufacturing, better quality control, and faster production. The move also created jobs in the local community. The warehouse became a spot fans wanted to visit. People traveled from all over just to see where the magic was made. Willie's decision to invest in real infrastructure kept the company ready for the rapid growth that was coming. Willie didn't stop at duck calls. He wanted Duck Commander to be more than that. Phil resisted the idea at first. He worried it would mean selling out. But Willie saw a bigger future. He introduced hunting gear, clothing, outdoor accessories, and even home goods. Soon, Duck Commander products were everywhere, from Cabela's to Walmart to Target. The product line exploded. Fans could buy everything from camouflage bedding to coolers, cookbooks, and even action figures. This wasn't just about making money. It was about building a lifestyle brand that hunters and outdoor lovers could connect with. The risk paid off. The company's sales reached hundreds of millions of dollars. Willie's bold ideas helped Duck Commander become a name everyone knew. The growth in revenue was staggering. When Willie took charge, the company made just $8,000 a year. That barely covered the bills. But Willie was determined. He pushed the brand at trade shows. He made deals with big retailers. He used media smartly and embraced reality TV early. By 2006, sales had jumped to over $2 million a year. That was in just 4 years. The small family business had transformed into a multi-million-dollar company, and the success didn't stop there. Today, Duck Commander brings in about $14 million each year. Willie's leadership completely changed the company's future. In 2006, Willie decided to try something new. He launched Buck Commander. This time, he focused on deer hunting and outdoor entertainment. But Buck Commander wasn't just about selling gear. It was about creating an experience. Willie brought in pro athletes and country music stars like Adam LaRoche, Jason Aldean, and Luke Bryan. Together, they became known as the Buck Men. They made hunting DVDs that mixed real adventure with humor. Fans loved them. The company partnered with big names like Under Armour. Buck Commander became a leader in outdoor entertainment. It built a loyal following and set a new standard for hunting brands. After Buck Commander did well on the Outdoor Channel, he was sure a bigger audience was waiting. So, starting in 2006, he spent years trying to convince major networks to take a chance on his family. He knocked on every door he could. At least 5 major networks turned him down. The response was always the same. They thought his family was too niche, too rural, too strange for mainstream America. But Willie wouldn't give up. He made sizzle reels, arranged hunting demos, and even flew to Los Angeles to plead his case. He kept going until A&E, known more for crime and home shows, finally said yes. This was the first step toward creating one of TV's most surprising hits. Even before A&E joined the picture, Willie and his family had already taken matters into their own hands. From 2009 to 2011, they filmed and aired their own reality show, Duck Commander, on the Outdoor Channel. It wasn't polished, it was raw. The family handled everything themselves, filming, editing, and learning as they went. Viewers got a real look at their world, making duck calls, going on hunts, and dealing with the daily mess of working with family. These early shows helped win over skeptics. They showed there was a big audience out there hungry for stories about faith, family, and the outdoors. When A&E came on board in 2011, Willie made sure to protect his family's image. He didn't just sign the contract, he fought hard in negotiations. He wanted executive producer credit and real creative control. A&E hesitated. They weren't used to giving that much power to newcomers, but Willie stood his ground. In the end, he got what he wanted. He had veto power over big decisions, and he made sure the show stayed true to their faith and Southern roots. It was a smart move. As the show's popularity exploded, the family's paychecks grew too. By season 4, they were making over $200,000 an episode. When Duck Dynasty premiered on March 21, 2012, it shocked everyone, even A&E. The first episode drew 1.8 million viewers, the biggest premiere in the network's history at that time. From there, it only got bigger. By season 4, an episode called Till Duck Do Us Part pulled in 11.8 million viewers. That made it the most-watched non-fiction cable show in history at that point. Sales of Duck Commander gear soared. The Robertsons' faces and catchphrases were everywhere. In just the first 9 months of 2013, the show made $80 million in ad sales and over $400 million in merchandise sales. But fame brought trouble. In December 2013, Phil Robertson gave an interview to GQ magazine that set off a storm. When asked to define sin, Phil spoke bluntly. He mentioned homosexuality, bestiality, and adultery, and quoted the Bible. He also made comments about race that many found offensive. Outrage followed fast. Groups like GLAAD condemned his words. A&E was extremely disappointed and said his views didn't reflect the network's values. Suddenly, the show that had brought in more than 9 million viewers was at the heart of a national fight over free speech, religion, and bigotry. Willie was caught in the middle. He had to stand by his father while also protecting the family's image and business. Things got worse when A&E suspended Phil on December 18, 2013. Fans exploded in anger. They accused A&E of attacking Christian values. Many called for boycotts. The family said they wouldn't keep filming without Phil. The pressure mounted. After just 8 days, A&E caved. Phil was back, without missing a single episode. The network tried to calm things by promoting unity and tolerance in their statements and public service announcements. But for Willie, those 8 days were a test of everything: his leadership, his loyalty, and his ability to balance family, business, and public opinion. The crisis revealed cracks in the family's unity. Behind the scenes, they had heated discussions. Willie and his wife Corey later admitted that the fallout sparked hard talks about faith, values, and the future of their brand. Some in the family were focused on defending Phil's right to speak his beliefs. Others worried about the damage to their reputation and relationships. The family's internal debates played out across America, as supporters and critics argued over what had happened. It was a moment that forced them all to confront the limits of their togetherness in the glare of fame. The family also faced ugliness of a different kind. Willie and Corey's adopted son, Will, who is biracial, became a target for racist comments when the show began. Will was just 10 years old when Duck Dynasty premiered. The couple hadn't thought much about race until hateful messages started coming in. People questioned who Will belonged to. Corey remembered how painful it was. Willie recalled how adoption agencies had warned them that biracial children were the hardest to place in the South. They had been overjoyed to welcome Will, but fame showed them a harsh truth about racism in America. The experience opened important conversations about race and adoption, and the dark side of fame didn't stop at hateful words. The family began receiving death threats after the scandal over Phil's comments. A&E itself got threats. The family compound in Louisiana became a target. They had to add security. In one terrifying incident, a man fired shots at homes on the property. A bullet went through a window where Willie's son, John Luke, lived with his wife and baby. Protective orders were put in place. The family's home, once a place of peace, turned into a fortress. The threats were a chilling reminder of how dangerous fame can be, especially when it touches on religion, race, and deeply held beliefs. Willie Robertson's life after Duck Dynasty was full of surprises, risks, and big moments that kept him in the spotlight. In 2021, he joined The Masked Singer on Fox, where he performed as the flashy Mallard. This was a bold move for someone best known for his down-to-earth image. Wearing a wild costume and singing both country hits and pop songs, he stunned the judges and fans. No one expected him to have that kind of stage presence or vocal talent. When he was unmasked in November 2021, millions tuned in. The buzz online was huge. It showed Willie's courage to try something new and his desire to stay relevant after Duck Dynasty ended in 2017. Before that, he and his wife Corey appeared in the 2014 Christian film God's Not Dead. Their cameo wasn't just for fun. It helped promote Christian values and drew their fans to the movie. The film was made on a small $2 million budget, but shocked everyone by earning over $60 million. Their appearance wasn't just acting. It was a statement about standing up for faith. They used their fame to spread a message they truly believed in, sparking conversations about the role of reality stars in promoting faith through media. In January 2014, Willie appeared at President Obama's State of the Union address. He was invited by Congressman Vance McAllister. Seeing a reality star at such a major political event caught the public's attention. It showed how much Duck Dynasty had shaped American culture at the time. Willie's presence also reflected how politicians were eager to connect with voters through celebrity ties. That night, he became more than just a TV figure. He showed he could have a voice in political conversations, too. After Duck Dynasty ended, Willie didn't fade away. He launched talk shows and podcasts, including At Home with the Robertsons on Facebook Watch. The show invited guests to discuss tough issues like race and gun rights right in the Robertsons' home. The casual setting made serious conversations feel honest and real. Some episodes quickly went viral, proving Willie's gift for handling sensitive topics while making guests feel welcome. It showed how well he adapted to new media platforms and how his influence stretched beyond reality TV. His family life also kept people talking. Willie and Corey raised 6 children: John Luke, Sadie, Bella, Will, Rebecca, and Rowdy. Their family was shaped by adoption and fostering. Will was adopted as a baby. Rebecca came to them from Taiwan as an exchange student and stayed as their daughter. In 2016, they adopted Rowdy at age 13. Each addition brought joy and challenges. The family's openness about adoption encouraged others to think differently about what makes a family. They stayed strong in their faith, even when critics and fans watched their every move. Behind the scenes, Willie's love for collecting caused some funny and tense moments. Corey often joked that if she didn't step in, he'd be a hoarder. This side of Willie came out in the June 22, 2025 episode of Duck Dynasty, The Revival. Willie went overboard, buying vintage items, stuffing the truck to the brim. It ended with a police warning that he could face a $500 fine and 60 days in jail if he didn't stop. The family teased him about it, showing their love, but also their need to keep him in check. As Willie thought about stepping back from the family business, he faced a new challenge. None of his kids seemed eager to take over Duck Commander. He took them hunting to see if they had interest. Sadie pointed out that they hadn't been raised as hunters, something Willie blamed on modern distractions like cell phones. Rowdy was at college. Rebecca was pregnant. The kids were focused on new dreams, and the company's headquarters had become more than just a business. It was now a mix of a museum, gift shop, and podcast studio. When Willie announced his semi-retirement, it left a big question. Who would carry on the legacy? Politics caused tension, too. In 2016, Willie publicly backed Donald Trump, even speaking at the Republican National Convention. His father, Phil, supported Ted Cruz instead. Corey stayed quiet about Trump, admitting that the family had many private discussions. The split between Willie and Phil made headlines and reflected the deep political divisions of that time. Even a tight-knit family like theirs wasn't immune to the strains of politics. While Willie dealt with all this, Sadie was building a name of her own. At just 17, she was the runner-up on Dancing with the Stars Season 19 in 2014. Her routines charmed millions, but what truly stood out was how she stuck to her values. After that, she became a successful author, launched a Christian speaking tour, and became a huge social media presence. Willie and Corey were proud, though they admitted it was a challenge to raise a daughter whose star sometimes shone brighter than their own. The peace of Willie Robertson's Louisiana estate shattered on April 24, 2020. It was around 2:30 in the afternoon when a beige Ford F-250 with huge tires rolled slowly past the property. Without warning, someone inside opened fire. Between 8 and 10 bullets flew toward the homes. One of those bullets slammed into the bedroom of John Luke, where he lived with his wife Mary Kate and their baby. The shooter, 38-year-old Daniel King Jr., was arrested soon after. He faced charges for assault by drive-by shooting, criminal trespassing, and criminal damage to property. His bond was set at $150,700. That day, several family members were home, including Sadie and her husband. The COVID-19 lockdown meant everyone was together, making the attack even more terrifying. Sadie later wrote on Instagram about how grateful they felt to have survived what could have been a nightmare. What made it even scarier was that Willie himself had been outside just 5 minutes before the shots rang out. He had left for the store, barely missing the gunfire. Willie later said it looked like they were just spraying bullets across my property. The truck had even circled the estate before the shooting started, which made it all feel planned. The thought that a few minutes could have changed everything haunted them. After that, the Robertsons filed for protective orders and made changes to their security. But the drama didn't stop there. In June 2025, Willie landed in legal trouble again, but this time, he wasn't the victim. During an episode of Duck Dynasty: The Revival, he set up a pop-up shop on a Louisiana sidewalk with his son-in-law, Jacob Mayo. They were selling vintage items. The problem? He didn't have a street vendor license. Police arrived and told him to shut it down immediately or face a $500 fine and possibly 60 days in jail. The whole thing was caught on camera. What started as a fun idea turned into public embarrassment and a real legal threat. Then, it got worse. Trying to lighten the mood, Willie told the officer he could pick a couple of items from the shop if he let them continue. The officer asked if he was trying to bribe him. That could have turned a small fine into a serious crime. In the end, the officer gave only a warning, but the moment went viral. Fans and critics argued about whether Willie was just being friendly or crossing a legal line. In May 2025, heartbreak hit the family. Phil Robertson, Willie's father, died at age 79. He had been battling Alzheimer's disease in private. His death came just a week before the premiere of Duck Dynasty: The Revival. The family announced the news, and fans everywhere shared their sadness. The show's first episode included a tribute to Phil. Willie read a touching message, and old clips showed Phil giving his famous thumbs up. The loss was huge for Willie. Now he had to lead the family both on the show and in real life, carrying on his father's legacy. But there's another challenge. The next generation of Robertsons doesn't seem eager to take over. Willie's 4 grown kids, John Luke, Bella, Sadie, and Will, are in the spotlight, but not for hunting. On the show, Willie tries to get them interested in duck hunting. Instead, they take selfies and joke around. They have the fame and the brand, but not the same passion for hunting that built Duck Commander. Phil used to spend hours in the woods teaching his sons about ducks and nature. Now, it looks like the future of the family business is uncertain. The kids may have the platform, but the drive that made the company great hasn't shown up yet.